guys, it's Kristen from Anime Collective. So this week I wanted to do something a little bit different on the channel by giving you guys some manga recommendations. This is just a small taste of what I've been into recently and I hope you all enjoy. First up is the Eminence in Shadow, which is a self-aware and humorous take on isekai. The creators use the many tropes of isekai as a means of comedy, and it's done in a tongue-in-cheek type of way. The way that it lightheartedly pokes fun at isekai makes it an entertaining read. I don't want the fact that it's a parody of sorts to cheapen it in any way though, because it actually has an incredible story as well. The Eminence in Shadow is about Sid, who was reincarnated into a fantasy world, but instead of becoming the main character, flashy hero, he decides to be an Eminence in Shadow, a puppeteer pulling the strings behind the curtain. To get people to follow him, he makes up an imaginary enemy that his organization, the Shadow Garden, can fight against, called the Cult of Diablos. Funnily enough though, and little to Sid's knowledge, the Cult of Diablos actually exists. It's absolutely hilarious, so much so it makes me laugh out loud, but even more so than that, it has a compelling storyline, and of course there's a cult, which keeps me interested too. Even if you're someone who has cast isekai aside, I really hope you will give this one a shot, because it's a refreshing and unique read. Gachiyakuda is one you may already know thanks to a recommendation from Atsushi Okubo. When Atsushi Okubo, who is one of my favorite creators that brought us manga like Fire Force and Soul Eater, recommends anything, I listen. He even went as far to say that he is passing on the baton to Kei Urina, who was his assistant at one point in time. Those are big words and big shoes to fill, but I couldn't agree more after reading Gachiyakuda. The style and character designs, the world building, the fact that it has a similar vibe and feel to two other manga I love, Deadman Wonderland and Fire Force, but it's still so unique. It's gritty and emotional, it has amazing art. I could go on and on as to why I enjoy this series. Gachiyakuda follows a boy named Rudo, an orphan living with his adoptive parent in the slums. He has abilities that make him stand out from other people, but they make him a target as well. One day, Rudo's life is changed forever when he is framed for a murder he did not commit and he is thrown into a place called the Abyss. Instead of dying though, he finds himself in a strange new world surrounded by monsters made of trash. There he meets a man named Engine, who's a janitor, an individual who fights against these monsters with special weapons. Rudo becomes a janitor as well so that he can fight his way out of the abyss and get his revenge. Gachiyakuda is one of those series that just excites me. I've been waiting for a series like this one to release for quite some time. Something that could give me that same feeling that creators like Atsushi Okubo or Jinsei Kataoka and Kazumi Kondo have made me feel time and time again. And I finally felt that feeling again with Gachiyakuda. There's just so much potential here, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the story develops in the chapters to come. I love horror, but I also love comedy, so of course I love horror comedies. But few have captured my attention as much as Mieruko-chan has. Miko is a normal girl that sees ghosts everywhere she looks, but her friends and family are totally oblivious of them. She tries to pretend herself they aren't there as well, but this of course is more challenging than it looks. Much of what makes this one funny are the situations that Miko finds herself in, but there's nods to horror that fans of the genre will laugh at also. For instance, she often tries things she sees in horror films to get rid of the ghosts, but as with many things, they only work in the movies. The manga is a comedy horror, so it will make you laugh, but when you stop to really think about what Miko is going through, it's unsettling as well. It's an interesting blend because it's a lighthearted read, but at the same time is horrifying also. It is one of the most enjoyable and best horror manga I've read as of late, and it has some of the best artwork I've seen too. If you've already gotten into this one and are looking for something similar, I highly recommend Liar Satsuki Can See Death. It's about a girl who can see the corpses of people who've died 24 hours before their death. One day, she steps in and alters a classmate's fate, which has more consequences than expected. Definitely has a similar premise and feel, and it's good as well. This next one, Leviathan, is a manhwa, but I had to add it to this list because it's unbelievably amazing. The stunning art you'll witness in Leviathan, which is some of the best I've ever seen by the way, combined with its story makes for an unforgettable experience. The world building in Leviathan is top notch. It's set in a world where it rained for so long everything is now covered in water, so it's a post-apocalyptic story. Humans now survive on boats and scavenge the ruins for food. These new dangers bring about even more terror than before though, especially with the arrival of Leviathan, mysterious and terrifying creatures who lie patiently in the depths ready to attack. In response to the Leviathan, the Harpoonists, an elite group of people that fight against the Leviathan, are formed. The story follows Bota, a young boy and his family though, who are trying to survive in this harsh world, but of course there's more to this story that I can't spoil. Leviathan is full of action, but is full of emotional moments too, so it's an exciting but also powerful read, and there's something so unsettling and creepy about it as well, which is largely thanks to Leviathan's designs. This series has an intriguing and creative premise that will keep you on the edge of your seat, and just when you think you know what to expect, it surprises you yet again. I love post-apocalyptic series and I've read many of them, but Leviathan is truly special and there's nothing else like it. Leviathan is on Tumix if you'd like to check it out. Takopi's Original Sin is a drama sci-fi manga by Tizen 5 that has skyrocketed in popularity over these past few months. I couldn't be happier because it is one of my favorite new manga series released within quite some time. I thought Goodnight Poom Poom by Inyo Asano was a tough read, and don't get me wrong, it definitely is, but there's something about the compactness of Takopi's Original Sin and the topics it explores that makes it just as much, if not more, of a heavy read. While Goodnight Poom Poom is a story that unfolds over multiple volumes, Takopi's Original Sin hits you hard from the get-go and continues to do so over the course of its 2 volumes. That being said, you'll definitely want to go into reading this one when you're in a good headspace because it is a tough read. These 2 manga series share a lot of similarities. Both are incredibly difficult to get through, but they are some of the most amazing stories I've ever read. What's unique about Takopi's Original Sin, though, is that it's a sci-fi story about Takopi, an alien from Happy Planet, a utopia where everyone is kind and happy, who meets a girl named Shizuka. In his interactions with her, he discovers that sadness and anger are a part of the human existence. Through his experiences on Earth and his time with Shizuka, Takopi learns to cope with new emotions he's never experienced before, the consequences that come with your actions, and how to be compassionate towards others, all while trying to get home. The series' serious tone contrasts with the main character Takopi, an octopus-like alien who is really cute. This story tackles complex, dark topics, but in ways that are interesting and original, and is a harrowing read that I won't soon forget. It's up now on Manga Plus if you'd like to read it. Let's move on from something sad to something really funny. Grand Blue Dreaming is by far the most hilarious comedy manga I've ever read. It has made me laugh out loud more times than any manga and has on many occasions made me cry from laughter. The humor in this one is absolutely absurd and downright ridiculous, but in the absolute best way possible. Some may waver on picking up Grand Blue Dreaming because they think it's a manga about diving, and while it is, it's more so a comedy than anything. This manga is about partying as much as it is about diving, so there's a lot of drinking as well as goofing off that goes on in this series. The story follows main character Iori Kitahara, who moves in with his uncle at a diving shop to go to college and ends up joining the diving club, who do as much partying as they do diving. I want to talk about the faces and expressions the characters make in this series. They're absolutely hilarious and get me every single time. There are a few series that knock this out of the park as much as this one, although Spy Family thanks to Anya and Prison School are up there for me also. That being said, when it comes to slapstick humor, none do it quite as well as Grand Blue Dreaming does. Apart from being my favorite comedy manga of all time, Grand Blue Dreaming is one of my top manga of all time as well. It has perfect comedic timing, amazing art, great character dynamics, and more. It will make you laugh more times than you can count, but as you head beneath the surface and explore those beautifully drawn and rich underwater worlds, it awes and awakens something within you as well. Dead Dead Demons Dead Dead Destruction by Inyo Asano, who also created Goodnight Poom Poom and more, is set in Tokyo. But when the citizens of Tokyo look up to the sky, they don't see a blue expanse. Instead, they see an alien mothership looming above them. Who are these invaders and what do they want? This fear of the unknown raises concern within some people and the government, and the response is anything but peaceful. This creates a rift between those who would like to seek conversation and peaceful treaty with the invaders and those who would rather use force instead. It really takes a good look at what people would do in the face of something or someone they don't quite understand. Alongside this overarching storyline, we follow the main characters as well as their main group of friends who are trying their best to live a normal life in the midst of all that's going on. So on one hand, this story really takes a hard look at society, but it's also a coming-of-age story as well. The characters in this series have a very pessimistic outlook and poke fun at the issues in their lives as a means of comedy, but humor is also a coping mechanism for them. This is an Inyo Asano manga, so while comedic, it still has a melancholic tone as well as hard-hitting moments. It's not nearly as dark or heavy feeling as his other manga, even though it can feel that way at times given the nature of what's happening in this series. Because of this, it's one I always recommend for first-time readers of his manga. Inyo Asano's manga always has an interesting cast of characters and a unique perspective. When you're reading his series, you very much know they are his, yet they all feel so different and fresh. To me though, Dead Dead Demons sees him stepping out of the box more so than ever before with its sci-fi themes. I love all of his works, but this one shines bright as a result of this, and it's one of my favorites he's released to date. Brutal Satsujin Kansatsukan no Kokuhaku is an extremely underrated horror manga about a detective named Hiroki Don that will do anything, even the most unthinkable, to get revenge on criminals that slip through the cracks of the justice system. When all else fails, he is there to make sure they never hurt anyone else ever again, even if he himself must dirty his hands to do so. He has this eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth type of mentality, but the people he kills are the absolute worst of the worst that live out their days harming and taking the lives of others. It creates a sense of uncertainty within you as the reader. On one hand, you'll think they got what they deserved, while on the other hand, you find yourself questioning his methods as well as the joy he gets from killing them. In this way, he is very similar to characters like Light in Death Note or Dexter Morgan in Dexter, so if you enjoyed watching or reading these series, you will enjoy Brutal as well. Due to the nature of the content in this story, it is quite graphic, but if you enjoy horror like me, this is something that is most likely not a concern. That being said, it is more violent than most because of the brutal way in which Hiroki kills these criminals. There is some pitch black humor in this one as well. It's one many of you guys actually recommended to me, and I couldn't be happier that you did because it really is a hidden gem. It hasn't been translated into English yet, but I'm hopeful it will get a print release someday. This next series, Oshi no Ko, is weird, but I love weird stories, so this is a compliment coming from me. I was excited for this one because it's written by the creator of one of my favorite romantic comedies, Kaguya-sama Love is War, and is illustrated by the creator of Scum's Wish. If you're looking for a series about an idol, the MC is one, but if you're thinking this is going to be your typical idol story, you are in for something else entirely. This one shines a unique light on what it means to be an idol and the struggles that come with being one, like always being in the public eye and having to fake emotions for the camera and the issues idols face in the industry in general. But it's a supernatural story too. In this story, our MC ends up getting pregnant and heads to a rural hospital to secretly have her twins. The doctor there just so happens to be a fan of hers. One thing leads to another and a mysterious figure kills him. He wakes up to find out he's been reborn as her newborn son, Aquamarine. There's quite a bit of mystery to this one that makes it an interesting read, and it's a unique story involving reincarnation too. It's on Manga Plus if you'd like to check it out. Rebuild World is an action sci-fi manga that I've recently gotten into. It's based in a world that was once technologically advanced, but a collapse occurs that changes everything. That being said, it's set in a post-apocalyptic type world, which always appeals to me. Our MC Akira has dreams to make it out of his birthplace Slumtown, which is right next to the dangerous wastelands, and make something of himself. So he becomes a hunter and ventures into the ruins of the New World where relics worth money reside, but perils await in this region as well. There he meets a mysterious entity named Alpha who brings him his first commission as a hunter. Later on, he signs a contract with her and she supports him on his missions, but to what end? Apart from having a really interesting story that's full of action and danger around every corner, which is something expected for a survival story, I really like the characters and the world it's set in. My favorite thing about Rebuild World, apart from its world building though, is its art. The panels are highly detailed, super clean, and they are beautiful to witness. Some of the best panels I've ever seen in a recently released series for sure, so on top of having an interesting world, premise, and characters, Rebuild World has phenomenal art. If you're into sci-fi, survival stories, or advanced tech like I am, I highly recommend checking this one out. These are only a few of the manga I've been loving lately. I definitely have a lot more recommendations than these, so I have more videos on the way. Also, let me know what manga you guys have been into recently. You guys have gotten me into a lot of awesome series, so I'm interested in seeing what else you enjoy.